Hola y bienvenidos. Hello and welcome. I'm Ivan Sandoval, Customer Service Division Manager at King County Superior Court Clerk's Office. I'm also a member of the King County Superior Courts and Community Committee. As the committee celebrates this year's Latinx Hispanic Heritage Month, we also encourage you to join us in celebrating the various achievements, successes, rich histories, contributions, and diverse cultures of the American Latinx Hispanic communities in the United States. The King County Superior Courts and Community Committee is fully dedicated to promoting public understanding of the justice system and eliminating barriers to equity and social justice. We do our work through public presentations, seminars, and other programs and activities. Today, in honor of the Latinx Hispanic Heritage Month, we are interviewing 4 extraordinary leaders. They will be sharing their traditions and other wonderful information about themselves. With us, we have Judge Michael Diaz from King County Superior Court, Aide Diaz Lozano from King County Clerk's Office, Leticia Figueroa from the King County Prosecuting Attorney's Office, and Wendy Elizalde Romero from the King County Clerk's Office. Now we welcome Judge Michael Diaz. Judge, thank you for being with us today. Please tell us a little bit about yourself, what your job title is, and how long have you worked for King County?
Sure, thanks for having me. My name is Mike Diaz. I am a King County Superior Court judge. I was appointed at the end of 2017, started in 2018. So I've been, I'm approaching the end of my 4th year as a judge.
Thank you so much. Can you tell us your Hispanic Latinx background?
Sure, I am Peruvian. I was born in Lima, Peru. We immigrated to Seattle when I was just a baby. I am, I'd say, mixed race. My parents have done the 23andMe's and they've come back 75%, both of them indigenous, and then 25% of European ancestry. So that sounds about right to me. So I'll stick with that. It's too complicated sometimes for Latinx people to mark that box. It doesn't make a lot of sense to us, but I'll just throw out random percentages instead.
Thank you for sharing that, Judge. During the Hispanic Latinx Heritage Month, we celebrate the various achievements, diverse cultures, extensive histories, and contributions of the American Latinx communities in the United States. How would you best describe the Hispanic Latinx communities, and what does the Hispanic Latinx Heritage Month mean to you?
Yeah, that's a big question, and I think I've been thinking about this question a little bit about kind of what distinguishes some of our community, or what other overlap are there with other communities. I'd say a couple of things. One, we tend to be warm, like, caring, family-oriented, hardworking, and extremely diverse. So it's very hard to capture in a few sentences what it means to be Latinx. Anyone from Mexico down through Central America to the tip of Tierra del Fuego, the whole thing, just a lot of different peoples and cultures and foods. So a nice variety of people, all in one culture. And in terms of what it means to me, I think it is important to take some time out and recognize the contributions that different parts of our community make to our greater King County or Western Washington community. People get to learn some stuff, right? Learn about the different people who they live with. They get to appreciate, some things that maybe they weren't aware of, like why are the San Juan Islands called the San Juan Islands? Things like that. So I think it's nice to take time to think about those things.
As you know, the Hispanic Latinx communities are full of amazing traditions that bring people together and emphasize family importance and unification. How has your family helped shape who you are? And what are some traditions your family passed on to you and you plan on passing on to your loved ones?
So family obviously is fundamental, I think, and it is one of those things I called out earlier about being something I think very distinctive about the Latinx communities. That often it's very family oriented, and it's fundamental to who I am. My values, my goals, how I spend my time, everything about me is shaped by my family. Not everything, but a lot of things about me are shaped by my family. But some of the things in particular that I carry forward are the food. Peru, we have a very proud tradition of good cuisine with a big variety of different foods that maybe we'll talk about in a little bit. That's one. Language. We grew up speaking Spanish at home. I still try to pass it on to my daughters as much as I'm able to. And just a lot of celebrations. We like getting together and having parties, whether it's religious ones for us or whether it's more indigenous ones. We like getting together. We joke. Well, the one Peruvian Winter Olympian back when it was Vancouver a few years ago actually worked at Microsoft and was based here in Seattle. And he joked that we didn't have very many Winter Olympians in Peru because we like drinking and eating too much. And so it really is, one of those things that we just get together for birthday parties or baptisms or whatever it is and try to enjoy our time together. So.
Thank you, Yaj, for sharing that. Which Hispanic, Latinx person you admire the most and why?
For me, that's an impossible question to answer. My parents obviously are Latinx. My dad, he grew up in abject poverty in Peru. My mom was one of 12. The fact that they immigrated here, built a life for 6 kids is just for me an amazing accomplishment and warrants the most admiration I could give. But there are different layers to this, right? I admire Justice Sotomayor for having grown up, in the Bronx and then going on to Princeton and then now being a justice who is so well regarded. So that's in the legal sphere. Athletically, we have Raul Ruidiaz, who's a proud Peruvian here playing for the Sounders and who's leading the league in goals right now. So I admire him. So it's an impossible question for me. Just Latinx people are just woven throughout this country, and that our part of our weave of that tapestry is just getting broader and broader. So hard to identify one person.
What is your favorite Hispanic Latinx dish?
That is also so hard to pick one. So hard. So in Peru, and I could talk your ear off about all the different things that come from Peru or the Andean region, from potatoes to tomatoes to, all these different foods that were shipped around the world, hundreds of years ago. But one of the things I'm most proud of in Peruvian cuisine is how diverse it is. We have large Chinese and Japanese populations in Lima. We have large African populations who've been there generations, and their foods have influenced our cultures. So, one of my favorite dishes is actually one of those Chinese influenced dishes, which is a stir fry called lomo saltado, and which is a beef, marinated beef with French fries over rice with tomatoes and onions and garlic. It's delicious. It's a comfort food. And then another dish, that I'll just toss out there, which people know, is ceviche. Which it comes from Peru, and that's that is the influence of our Japanese brothers and sisters down there. So it's impossible to identify one, but those are a couple. If you ever get a chance, go to a Peruvian restaurant, and you'll get to see the variety there. So.
Thank you so much, Yaj Diaz, for sharing all of that with us and for being here with us today.
Thanks, Ivan, for having me.